Hi everyone, Martin here from martinsmayhem.co.uk. I hope you're all well. Today I am bringing you this card that you see here. It is created using the Send and Smile stamp set, which is new in our, hold on, I've got it here. He says I have Annual Catalogue 22 to 23, which is super exciting. You can see already mine's a bit bendy and a little bit nipped, and that's because I love it so much. I'm looking through it a lot. Stay tuned because you will see a walkthrough of this catalogue where I show you my favourites, and we can just have a look through together, a little chin wag, as I was about to say. So, shall we get started? Let's move the stamp set out of the way. He says, I've got no room around me. And put the card into the top corner there. So I'm going to start by bringing in my trimmer. So the trimmer itself, as well as the cardstock, I lost my train of thought there. So the cardstock you're going to need is a piece of soft sea foam. So let's bring that in. I'm going to cut it along the short side at 10.5 centimeters. So that basically makes two A6 card, C6 card bases for UK size cards. If you're in America or Canada, and I think some Australia might have different size cardstock, and New Zealand, I'm not sure. But yeah, so our card is slightly longer and thinner, I believe. So I'm going to turn that round. So along the long edge, I'm going to score at just over 14.8. So it's between the 14.8 and the 14.9. And that score line is going to be our fold, and that creates our card base. Just going to give it a little score. Then what I do is I tend to use this as a card base. However, for the sake of the video, I'm going to use it for my matte layer. So the matte layer is going to be 13.8 high. Put that to the side by 9.5. So that's just knocking off that 1 centimetre basically. Along each, well, it's 0.5 centimetre all the way around, but that just creates a cute little matte layer. And the reason why I do this is because it's cheaper to throw this bit card away instead of this. Okay, so that's going to sit on our card base like so. And then one of the other new products that I'm using is the Dots and Spots die, which you can see here. Isn't it cute? It's just lots of little dots in a, well, whatever, in a diagonal, well, that's throwing it around, in straight lines all the way down, but they're slightly off center to each other, and it's really cute. So you're going to need a piece of Whisper White. So I've got a piece of scrap, and you can see I've printed on the other side. That doesn't matter. I'm going to cut this down to half of the card base. So card base is 10.5 by 14.85. 14.85. I'm just going to go 14.8. So it's slightly smaller, so that's fine. So 14.8 in half is 7.4. And just check. Yeah, perfect. And that's the size that I want it. So it is a 10.5 by 7.4. So I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. You can see here. I have my sandwich plates ready to go. So I'm using the base plate number 1, the sham plate number 2, and 2 number 3s to create my sandwich. So I'm going to pop that in. I'm going to pop our piece of cardstock, pop our die on top. I'm going to just try to make sure it's reasonably centre. On there, so you can see it should be somewhere in the middle, so it looks even. I'm going to finish that off with the top plate and roll that through. Now it's going to cut after one, but I'm just going to roll it back through just so all them little circles pop out so easy. Because the last thing I want to do is be sitting here spending hours poking them out. So you can see there how cute. And do you know what this reminds me of? Cheese. Anybody else? No, just me. Okay, cool. Talking to myself anyway. So that's going to go in the centre of our card, like so. But I did mine at a slight angle, and I did mine a little bit too low on the example. So I'm just going to pop this one slightly higher, and that's going to be adhered later with dimensionals. I'm going to be careful not to bleed. I have accidentally scraped my knuckle. Don't ask me how, I don't know. So you're going to need another piece of basic white to do all our stamping. So I'm going to move that out of the way. You don't need to be looking at that while I'm stamping. So the stamps I've got is that massive sending stamp. I've got the little buds. I don't know what the centres of the flowers are called. So they're all individual. I've got my flowers on a D block. And I've got the 2 sprigs of leaves on an E block. And the colours we're stamping in is So Saffron, Pear Pizzazz and Fresh Freesia. What should we do first? Let's do some Fresh Freesia. Now the reason why I've put them all on one block is because they're all going to be the same colour. So why make life hard? You can just stamp them down like so. And then that's the Fresh Freesia done. Let's do the Pear Pizzazz with the leaves. And stamp them down. I have tried to leave enough room around it so I can try to do all my die cutting at once. I'm not going to have enough room for the sending on here, so I've got another piece of basic white, and the sending is going to be in the So Saffron. So I'm just stuck my finger in it, ink that up, and stamp that down like so. It was So Saffron, wasn't it? If it wasn't, it is now. So there's that. I think it might have actually been Daffodil Delight. Shall we get Daffodil Delight? Let's do a comparison of yellows. Daffodil Delight. Let's ink it up. Stamp that down. I have got Daffodil Delight here. I don't know what yellow I used. Oh well. We're going to use one of these for the sake of a video anyway. You know when you make a card and you can't remember what you used to make it. Great start, Martin. So, let's bring back, making a mess, our cast and emboss machine. Let's just quickly bang the circles off. I will hoover them up later. So, I'm going to grab this one. We'll do this piece first. Now, what I love is the coordinating dies. It makes life a lot easier. And I'm just going to line that up like so. And then bring this one in. Line that one up. Like so. That's not very straight. go. Very much bleeding now. I hope no one has a issue with blood. I don't know what I've done to myself. Okay, so that's going to be an issue. I can't run through that one. I tried and I failed, but it's fine. So I'll be running it through again for the sending. Line that up. Get our plate and run that through. There we have some of our elements. So I haven't stamped the centerpieces yet on purpose because, especially for this one here, I can then make sure it's reasonably straight. I stamped that one before and quite honestly it was a fluke. So that's that stamped. I need to pull these off. I might just rip this one out. So the question is, what sending are we going to go for? It's definitely not so saffron. So we're going to go for the, let's trim that down. We'll go for that one there. That one. I think. Who knows? We're going to go for this one. Anybody else as indecisive as me? Sean says it's my worst quality. I think it's quite cute quality. Never make up my mind. But yeah, how fab are these dies? I just love the coordination. He says I'm trying to get it to line up. Okay, so let's finish our sandwich. Run that through. Like so. We've got our sending. Right, that is all the die cutting, so that machine can go away. Let me just make sure everything's back in frame. That can be put to one side. So there we have our elements. We have our little flowers here, which I'm now going to stamp in Daffodil Delight. Ink that up. Find it and pop that on. Like so. This one's for that circle. And then this tiny little dot, which you might think is not worth it, but just makes life so much easier. Is it? Of course, you could go in with just a Stampin' Up marker, absolutely fine, no problems. So let's bring back our other elements. I'm going to, do you know what I haven't got? My heat tool. I knew I'd forget something. So I'm going to get our matte layer, and all I'm going to do is put that onto our grid. Measure 2 inches up. I'm just going to do a little indent with my finger. Now, a hole punch, okay? I've got our old crocodile, but it doesn't have to be. It can literally be anything you have to hand. And I'm going to go in halfway and just do like a little nick. And actually, I did the bigger one. Okay, let's go in and do the bigger one. There you go. And then on this side, again, go in, do halfway, and do a little nick. And all that does is it gives me somewhere to notch in my twine, and it also matches the card, which I thought was super cute. So on the back of our basic white piece, we're going to add some dimensionals. I'm just going to use some mini ones here and there, in between, kind of. the holes. I'm going to do 2 in the middle just so it's supported. I don't know why I put that one in the middle, but I did. So let's just add another one here. Okay, so I'm going to turn that around. I'm going to put that in the centre, like so, up on dimensionals. Then you're going to need some linen thread. Linen thread is probably my all-time favourite product, just because how much I use it. And actually, I'm on my last spool, so I need to get some more. I'm leaving a healthy length just before I wrap it round. He says. Wrap it round twice, and then the third time is going to be our tie off. So just so it's easier for me, I'm gonna cut it. Not the most, what's the word I'm looking for, economic way of using it. Try to use it on the twine if you can, on the spool even, just so it's, you're getting the most out of it. And I'm going to tie it in a bow, like so. Now I like a big chunky bow, you might not, you might want a little tiny bow, that's fine. That is a little bit too big though for my liking. Let's just finish it off. Still too big. And tighten. That will do. Snip off any excess. And I tend to just go 1 centimetre or 2 past the bow. And then it's just a matter of assembling the rest of our pieces. So these are all up on dimensionals. So I'm going to pop a dimensional on the back there. Where's the other leaf? There. And then it's just a matter of assembling. So this is our main feature one. So let's pop that on our card like so. There. And then this one, I did it so it overlapped a little bit, just for that added interest. Then our flowers. There's a dimensional without back. Let's use that. Dimensional, dimensional, where are vowel dimensional? And then just arrange it onto the card like so. And this is why I like die cutting these elements, because you don't have to stress about getting it lined up perfectly. It is as simple as popping it down where it works. So again, the sentiment here is going to be on dimensionals. I can grab, I can't pick it up. Why can't I pick it up? There we go. I'm going to grab some bigger dimensionals for this one. I'm going to stick it on the S and the G. Pop the backs off. And then pop that. Matching the angle of our dots and stripes background onto our card like so. And now all that's left is our sentiment, or the remaining sentiment. So I've got a piece of Fresh Freesia. I'm just going to grab my heat tool because I forgot it, which is now there. Should reach. Track across the room. So you're going to stamp your sentiment on Fresh Freesia cardstock. I've got my stamp already set up and it's a card to say hello, which is really sweet. What I don't have is my embossing buddy, which we no longer sell, but I would always recommend you use because it just takes that static away. Bring in some Versamark, and I'm going to stamp that on the card like so. So I'm not stressing about if it's straight or not, because we can always straighten it up afterwards. I'm going to bring in my white embossing powder, sprinkle that over, put the lid back on because you don't know how many times I've lost a load. Give that a little flick and give it a heat so it doesn't quite reach. It doesn't quite reach, but there you go. So that's now heat set. Give it a little wave so it cools down. And then with your trimmer, what I like to do is I line the top of the sentiment. So I'm going to stand up for this so I can see. I like to line at the top of the sentiment with the inner part of the runner. So stand directly above, he says. Line it up and put, and then push it up, line it up with the other side. Like so, and cut. And that way your sentiment is going to be great every time. Grab some paper snips just to cut off any excess. Snip, snip. And then that can be stuck on with just a mini dimensional in the middle. Like so. Bring back that. That's just upside down. I'm gonna sit over the sending like so. Try to get it straight. Unlike me. Okay, so turn that round, add some dimensionals onto the back because dimension is key to creating an impact. Take the backs off. Now, if I wasn't recording a video where I knew I had to take all these backs off, I would be putting a lot more dimensionals on the back. I do use quite a few. Pick that up and pop that in the centre of our card base like so. And then, to finish, use your rolling stones. So I'm going to use my take a pick tool. I've currently got the adapter on the end, but I'm going to use the spatula side. I'm going to use one big one. It says one big one there, then a medium one, there, and then a little one. Oh, come on. You can do it. No, I can't. Just in that corner. And there. And then I'm going to do another medium one just below our sentiment and match that with another small one just slightly below it at an angle. And what that does is that just frames our sentiment like so. And there you have today's card. So I'm going to quickly zoom in. So again, the stamp set Sending Smiles isn't currently available, but it will be available May 3rd. If you have any questions in relation to the products that I used today, please feel free to reach out and leave a comment in the description below. Please leave a comment below. All information is available for you in the description below. I'll see you later. Bye.